Hey, ba-dum-bum-bum. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to Kocosports presents WrestleAM podcast with me and SidsLight, number 2 of 1 billion. We will keep making these until we reach 1 billion. Sid is under contract. Sid is the raccoon. I am the human, and we're slowly but surely making this podcast better and better. By surely but slowly means SidsLight is doing everything while I misspell Bullet Club. True story. Sid, welcome to WrestleAM.
The true story is that he tried to blame me for misspelling Bullet Club when he misspelled it.
I misspell it all. I misspell all the time. Novelist. I misspell all the time, and you always bust my balls on it, and I saw that you misspelled Bullet Club, but then I forgot that I was the one that spelled Bullet Club, so...
Yeah, it was a beautiful moment of me being blamed for something you did.
And we have to, as always, we got to throw Boom Boom. Got to say thanks to Boom Boom for this saying. WrestleAM, half morning show, half wrestling show, all BS. We got a bunch of topics that we're going to get down. Sid, anything you want to say outside of the topics?
Don't forget to check out my YouTube. I started doing horror reviews. I'm trying to keep them under 5 minutes and minimal spoilers. I started putting those up yesterday, and I'm going to do them daily until I lose interest.
1 billion. That's the new number. Everything we do is to 1 billion.
All right. I'm going to do 1 billion of them.
Is there? Do you think there's a billion?
At one a day?
Do you think there's a billion?
One a day. I'm more worried about 1 billion days.
Oh yeah, 1 billion days is probably a lot.
So yeah, one a day. I don't think I'm going to live to hit 1 billion.
You're going to have to do 4 or 5 a day, man.
I'm going to have to up it if I'm going to want to hit 1 billion before I die. Shit.
How many days is 1 billion? Anyone out there good at math? That's today's trivia question. How many?
Did you just ask how many days is 1 billion?
No. Like
it's 1 billion.
I mean, I meant years. I meant how many years is 1 billion. I messed up. You're right. That was simple math. That was a trick question.
Let's see. 1 billion divided 365. It's 2,739,726 days.
And considering we only do this podcast weekly, holy shit, we're planning long lives. We are planning some long lives here, boys. Pass this on to your grandkids and your grandkids and your grandkids. Be like, listen.
Yeah, if they see it and it's new, it counts again.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Topic number dos. New women's championships. Let's talk about Asuka champion. All feel good. Everyone loves it. All of Japan smiled. New championship belt. It's basically the same championship belt, just with a gold background. What is your thoughts on... I always get... Is this the undisputed one? Is this the disputed one? Is this the world? Which one does Asuka have?
Hers is the women's undisputed champion. You can't see it on that picture, but when you look at the belt itself, it says it on the bottom real small in that line along the bottom below the W.
Got it. Undisputed, even though there's 2 of them.
I hate that.
All right, what's your thought?
Why is everything undisputed?
We're undisputed, the best wrestling podcast ever. Undisputed.
Yeah, I mean...
We're not the best. We're just the undisputed wrestling podcast.
I will say I don't really care for the belt that much. It's just it feels too samey to a lot of their other designs they've been doing. It just feels like they churned out another belt in another color, and that's all.
I do feel like the women getting their belts after the men and it be exactly like the men is a bit rough. And also, as a fan, I give these belts, I think I'm repeating myself here. I don't know if it was the last podcast, 6.5 out of 10, but like marketing wise, it's 10 out of 10. Like you wear that belt down the street, everyone knows what company that belongs to.
Oh yeah, for Asuka, you definitely it's 100%. This is marketing.
Yeah, so it's great marketing. Let's go to see the other women's title real quick. Boom, there it is. It's smaller, white, looks like the men's. Dom's girls got it. I don't know. It's almost a good title. I feel like it's almost a good title, and they're like, well, we got to get our marketing in there.
That's where I'm at. It feels like they took, like it was inspired heavily by Big Gold, which everybody loved Big Gold. It feels like it's inspired by Big Gold, but with like a fucking WWE New Age W logo slammed in the middle.
I feel like and of course the men's title and the women's title look the same, but we'll talk about a title that looks completely different in a second. I feel like Triple H came by and said, "Look, I recreated Big Gold," and Vince just put a fucking big WWE logo right in the middle, and it's good to go, son. Send it out.
Yeah, he brings over the concept art of the big gold belt. He sets it down and he's like, Vince, what do you think? New women's belt. And Vince just grabs a Sharpie and writes a W in the middle, and he's like, no, it's good.
But overall, not bad. Now, you really wanted to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is the women's tag team championship look absolutely fantastic, they had 3, and now there's 1. What are your thoughts on this, sir?
Well, first, I'll say I was telling you off air. I think this might be one of my top 3 favorite belts. I really, really like the design of the belt. The silver, they use a lot of silver, and I think it looks really, really, really good. This is my favorite belt, I think, in WWE right now.
And it pops. The silver makes it pop off. The white makes it look a little bit different. And yeah, I am a big fan of this belt. I feel like you're a little bit bigger a fan. I think you're giving this a 10 out of 10 when it comes to WWE belts. I'm giving it a solid 9, a solid 8, 8.5. But
Yeah, this is instant top tier belt to me in terms of looks.
but the thing is, you know me, I'm complaining all the time. Too many titles, too many titles, too many titles. Merging 3 divisions into one, big brain. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I think that's genius. I think it's something where when they originally came out with their tag division in Raw and SmackDown, we all were questioning it because they don't have a lot of women's tag teams. So the fact that they're now coming around to let's just have the tags be across all of the brands, including NXT, I think that's super, super smart. I think it lets them use a lot more of their women's wrestlers in a more efficient way, get them on TV, and put on better tag matches. I love tag divisions, so I'm all for it.
And I just want to add something. I hope they do this to all the belts because it keeps the brand split alive, but it also makes it feel like territory days. Like when you're the champ, you have to work harder. When you're the champ, you have to show up on all 3 shows. So you would have to have a champion that would show up on all 3 shows, kind of like Seth Rollins is going to NXT next week. I like that idea. I like getting rid of titles. I like that, I'm not pro brand split, but WWE is not changing. No matter what our podcast says, they're not changing.
Yeah, no.
But just one champion having to go to all 3 brands, making the champion work hard, I like that. I like that a lot.
I do too. I think it's a really, really solid play. I think it lets them shore up the weakness of the tag division by using the other brands to fill it out. And I hope they keep it going because I think it's a great idea. And honestly, I've been enjoying Ronda and Shayna so far.
So all good news for women in America. Let's talk about women in Japan.
Ooh, that's spicy.
It can be spicy. Stardom gave out a press release, and fans are begging for something that I don't think helps. But go ahead. You want to read the press release, Mr. Raccoon?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Stardom basically was having such an issue with perverts taking creep shots of their wrestlers and then posting them online where it's just done to be a pervert. Like they're trying to get the most pervy angles they can. Stardom had to actually issue a fucking statement saying, hey, stop doing this. So I'll go ahead, I'll read it off. Recently, there have been reports of photos taken of our players, such as persistently taken pictures of the lower body of our players being posted on social media or on the web for sexual purposes. Above all, taking, posting, and publishing such photos is an act of sexual harassment that undermines the dignity of the athletes who concentrate and devote themselves to the game, family members, and others involved. Posting or posting on SNS or the web that damages the honor and integrity of a player may constitute defamation of the player. Also, voyeurism may be punished under the nuisance prevention ordinance. And it continues on, but again, it's auto-translated, so it's not perfect. But the problem is that they have a huge amount of perverts just going to Stardom events just to take creep shots of the women.
And it reminds me of Quiet Gate. I've made a bunch of videos on Quiet Gate. If you don't know what that is, one foreigner acted like an asshole, so they ran it like a strip club. And they called it Quiet Gate, and a lot of the women hated it. Um, I don't understand. Like, me and the raccoon, we find women attractive. I don't understand doing this to female athletes or doing this to pro wrestlers when there's a huge industry that solves that problem.
Yeah.
You know, that, like, if it was like, hey, this is my industry, it is, you know, corn time, as they would say, trying to tickle the balls of YouTube here and not get in trouble. But there is an industry for the perverts. And
Absolutely.
there is a fan base that it's a small fan base, because I feel that women's wrestling, in my opinion, right now, and you could say women's sports, is maybe 10% actually watching the sport and appreciate the athletes. The other half perverts, and the other half white knights. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people that actually watch women's wrestling enjoy women's wrestling, because to me, yeah, okay, they are beautiful women, but I despise when someone says, I like this new woman. Is she good? I don't know. She's hot. It's like, there is an industry for that. Yeah. There is an industry for that, and we don't want to stop that industry. I just don't understand why you have to ruin it. And I think the white knights and the perverts are ruining it for the athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. It's one thing to say, oh, hey, these are beautiful women. That's one thing. But when you're taking creepy, just like catching them like when they're getting pinned or whatever, trying to get the creepiest shot you can and post it online to overly sexualize them, that's just shitty. Because honestly, you're not even thinking about how that could impact the wrestler themselves. You're just showing total and blatant disrespect to the wrestler for your own gratification. It's garbage behavior, and people should be ashamed of it. They do it to the U.S. wrestlers too. They do it to all the women's wrestlers, and it's a really shitty behavior.
And not only that, but like, I've worked camera, I have worked cameramen, and you could just have a conversation with the women if you're a professional. Like, some women want to show off their stuff, and some women want to just focus on talent. You can have that conversation, but just to go to these events to take these pictures, there's an industry for that. There is literally an industry for that, and those voices are loud and they're ruining it. And it just sucks, because you have the perverts, and then you also have the people that demand women's wrestling but like don't support it. Like an example. There has to be an IWGP women's title. Why? Oh, there has to be a Noah's women title. Why? You know, you got TJPW, you got, you got Stardom, you got tons of women's wrestling out there. Why does it have to be there? And not only that, but Stardom sold out at Wrestle Kingdom before the guys did, as far as merch goes. It's like, these women are popular at what they do. There is, and am I a bad guy for saying, "Hey, perverts"? There is an industry for that. You know what I mean? I don't think I don't think I'm wrong for that. There is an industry for that. I just don't think everything doesn't need to be that way.
And to add to that, how much worse is it that this isn't just any company saying this? This is Stardom, the cream of the crop for women's wrestling. If you ask anyone who watches women's wrestling, they'll tell you, at least in my opinion, Stardom number one. The closest that's ever been to number two, I would say, is probably TNA Knockouts division comes close as to competing at a number two, but no one touches Stardom in terms of just overall raw quality of women's wrestling, and they're having to put out this statement.
Yeah, I mean, I do say TJPW has a couple sleepers, but
they are really good.
I've had this conversation. This is an awkward conversation, a little bit off topic. I was like, oh, TJPW. I said, like, the top 6 women at TJPW can hang in Stardom. That was the statement. And he goes, nah, you're an idiot. And I was like, have you ever seen TJPW? No. And then he goes on, and then later there's like ... by his name. I'm like, oh, I guess this conversation's over. He's like, I've never actually seen Stardom either.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, why? Why are we having a conversation here? But,
that's how most wrestling fans for women's wrestling seem to be, that they haven't actually watched as much as they claim.
Well, yeah, and it's the same thing, like, oh, I women wrestling division should be a Noah. Cool. To watch Noah legally, you literally have to skip over TJPW. To watch Noah legally. And here's the thing, you want there to be an IWGP champ. Why ain't there women's wrestling all together? Why ain't there women's wrestling at Forbidden Door? Like, they have their division. Watch them and their company. Because here's the thing. You're a raccoon in this scenario. I said, hey, there's a company with nothing but raccoons and you will fucking dominate the Raccoon Wrestling Federation. Or you'll be a mid-carder stuck with a bunch of raptors. Which one are you choosing?
Dominate the Raccoon Company.
And not only that, but like, you'd get paid more than it's just, to me, it's just silly. To me, it's just silly.
I mean, you can see it. Look at where Sasha Banks / Mercedes Moné is. She went there for a reason.
Yep.
They're
And
the best.
so here's the thing, guys. I'm not saying don't be a pervert. I'm not that guy. I'm just saying there's an industry for that. Like, there's a time where you can go and release those stresses, and then there's a time that you don't release those stresses. I think that's the most professional way of saying it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best way to put it is, it's okay to appreciate the female form, but don't hypersexualize these women and force them to endure you making sexual comments or putting them into uncomfortable positions. Don't do that. Admire them silently if you want to, but don't go out there and be a shithead and make their day shittier. Don't make them afraid to wrestle in front of you because they don't know what you're going to do with a camera.
And Stardom has had a problem in the past, and it just sucks because what you're going to do, and this is what happened at Quiet Gate, for people that just love women's pro wrestling, you're going to chase them away. Stardom was in a lot of trouble after Quiet Gate, and they could be getting a lot of trouble here. Hopefully, like a little warning, like, hey, don't do this, might be enough. You know what I mean? Hopefully it's enough. All right.
I agree.
Sticking in Japan, all right, Bullet Club. Over or over it? How do you feel, Sids? What's your opinion on the club that will never die? 10 years, tons of members, including Jeff Jarrett, sells tons of merch. Go ahead, sir.
I hate it so much, dude. I hate Bullet Club now. Like, don't get me wrong, Bullet Club was cool at times. It has had some sweet iterations. The best iteration, in my opinion, probably being the Elite, just because I love Kenny Omega so much. But they've had so many good iterations. I feel like the Elite should have been the last one. I just feel like that should have been the end of the Bullet Club. And instead, we have the Bullet Club going into another iteration now after Jay White has left. Like, how ridiculous is it? And they're bringing Bullet Club to AEW. Why? Just let it die.
That's also an Impact, sir. Don't forget.
Oh God.
There is a. Here's the thing. I love the original Bullet Club. It's probably my favorite. It made the most sense. It was groundbreaking, and then Finn Balor and the crew had to leave. AJ Styles' version wasn't too bad. Kenny Omega's wasn't too bad, but even then it was like, oh, but you're like him. So Finn Balor, it's like, I always make the joke, it's a carbon copy of a carbon copy of a carbon copy. They got lucky with a few copies. Like, AJ Styles eventually got over in Japan, which a lot of people don't realize. He had a rough start in the beginning. There was a lot of fans that were like, you're not Finn Balor. Why are you fucking here? You're not Finn Balor. And then he won them over. Kenny did a great job, but then it was like, well, you're not, and then Jay White, it's tough because, like, Jay White, he was beloved by English speakers, but then grew into what they said he was. And Jay White really improved. And it's just a carbon copy of a carbon copy. I know this is going to sound crazy. I like this version of Bullet Club. The one that's in Japan right now, but I feel like it's not as special for one reason, sir. They didn't go on break. If they went on a little bit of break, like towards the end of, I don't even say the end of Jay White's career, but if they just took a little bit of a break and they came back, but the problem is they sell too many shirts. That's the problem. I don't think this is the worst version of Bullet Club. I think it gives us hope. I'm kind of excited about it, but it's been here for 10 years, and it's a carbon copy of a carbon copy of a carbon copy. And not only that, but Ghetto being a part of it, if you're old school New Japan, it's like, what? It would be like for American fans. I apologize. If it
It'd
would
be
be
like
like,
if Vince McMahon was in DX
yeah,
back in its peak. Well, not even at its peak. If the time DX came back when it was older HBK and Shawn, if Vince had been part of it then, that's what it would be like.
or if Vince stayed in NWO for 4 years.
Yeah.
Like if that was a 4 year process. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere soon. And even like I feel bad for Kevin Kelly because he has to explain the story, and he sounds like an idiot. He just sounds like a moron. But this part excites me. But I say this stat. I'm gonna keep saying this stat till someone proves me wrong. Raccoon, I can't prove this. This is an internet stat I'm pulling from my heart.
Oh boy.
95% of people who buy Bullet Club merch do not watch 5 events a year.
I'd say that's probably a pretty fair assessment because I have trouble believing that all the people I've seen wearing Bullet Club shirts are actual fans of Japanese wrestling.
Yeah. So I you remember when watching WWE or playing Madden? Well, still Madden's going on. But you remember before Triple H kind of put a spark back in WWE? It was painful till you quit. And like playing Madden, like you're like, oh, am I gonna buy it? Am I not gonna buy it? I'm probably not gonna buy it. It's kind of shit. You know that like reign where it's kind of over, but you're still watching.
Yeah.
Ant-Man 3. Um,
Rip.
Sorry, that one hurt my soul. But to me, I feel like the MCU and Bullet Club and Madden are the same place. It's like, am I just doing this out of tradition? And it's hard to break traditions because you remember the good times and you're like, oh, they'll make a comeback. And then, it's tough. I feel like Monday Night Raw had this. I feel like Madden has this. I feel like the MCU has this. And I feel like Bullet Club has this. It's like I'm watching because I've watched for a long time. I don't know if I'm watching because I enjoy it. But the one in New Japan gives me hope.
We'll see.
Now, there is another Bullet Club in AEW. And now there's rumors on my internet machine that there'll be an AEW brand split. Dynamite, Collision's coming up. Dynamite's out, Collision is coming up. 2 different shows. And they're talking about splitting up brands. This is one of those things I hope the internet gets wrong. If you don't mind me going first, sir.
Go for it.
I don't mind if me, the Raccoon, and people that spay on the internet too much know. But if it's actually in the story that it's a brand split, this is going to be as big of a blow as signing JR. It's like, just fucking put all your money in buy WWE at this point, It's starting to remind me of Dixie Carter.
Well, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. I'm okay with us internet nerds that study too much know that CM Punk will always be on Collision. The Elite will always be on Dynamite. Guys that don't like each other will be on different shows. I am completely fine with that. But if they make it clear part of the kayfabe product, I think it will be a huge hit. Hot tag to you, sir.
I agree entirely. Personally, I think as soon as it becomes an on-screen brand split where talent's divided on screen, I think that just... Why are you going to try and divide your audience when you're trying to build your audience? You're going to create tribalism within your own brand amongst your fan base, I think. And I don't think that's optimal at all. I think that's just going to lead to worse problems.
Well, and now that you're splitting up your audience... Like, here's the thing. The brand split in WWE, we're not big fans of it, but we're not going to change it. The mistake hasn't happened. But here, we can make this mistake not... Tony, you can fix this mistake. I just think with so much tribalism, and not only that, but there's, like, legit heat between certain people, I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, we can't even make a CM Punk thing without people being like, "Oh my God, you gotta love or hate CM Punk." It's like, yeah. So, go ahead, sir.
Just to go ahead and expand on, like you said, I don't care if it's a brand split that's off screen. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I see CM Punk come out at the start of a Dynamite, and I know that means backstage the Elite won't be on that Dynamite. They'll probably show up on Collision that week instead. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. I like that more than if they're just always on Dynamite and the other ones are always on Collision, because I think that creates a brand split, which is or a brand division in fans, and I just don't think that's smart. But outside of that, I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I'm very worried about it. I'm hoping it goes well though. I really am.
Yeah, and I just want to add something. This is kind of like something thinking and just throwing it out there. Saturday. It is a tough day for television shows, but not a tough day for sports. Pro wrestling has ups and downs on Saturdays. Saturday pay-per-views do a lot better in the international audience.
Mhm.
What do you think about them being on Saturday? Good, bad, or let's wait and find out?
I think I have two stances on it. On one hand, I think it's real brave in a dumb kind of way to take a slot that wrestling has historically not done very well in. And it's not like just one wrestling company tried it. There have been multiple attempts to do a Saturday show over the years, and none of them were really doing very well. I mean, shit, what was the best one? Maybe Main Event at one point, and that's not good. So
Well,
I think for one, it's
I'm sorry, I
go
didn't
ahead.
mean to cut you off. The one that comes to my brain is Saturday Night's Main Event, but it wasn't weekly.
Oh, it wasn't. See, I don't even remember because I didn't watch it actively because it sucked.
Well, are
I,
you talking about the main event show or Saturday Night's Main Event with like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant?
I'm talking about the main event show, the
Oh,
one
okay,
that
yeah,
they were
that
doing for a
sucks.
while.
Sorry, I thought
Yeah.
you were talking about Saturday Night's Main Event on NBC. I was about to fucking have a heart attack here.
No, I was talking about when WWE tried to do it like as a regular thing for a while, where it was
Yeah.
like they almost ran it like AEW Dark, kind
Well,
of.
I believe they also Shotgun Saturday Night, but that had a niche of niche fans. I loved Shotgun Saturday Night, but it wasn't many
I
people
think
watching it.
I think that while we can definitely say Saturday is not an easy time to go for, the other half of my stance is AEW knows that. AEW and TNT know that. They're putting AEW there because they feel comfortable with the numbers AEW is going to pull from um, VOD watching because they realize that AEW's fans do watch after the fact. So I think they're just banking on that. But I think it kind of sucks because it rules them out of Saturday pay-per-views for the most part.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, outside of North America, uh, for those that are in North America, Saturday pay-per-views do so much better overseas. It's great for Japan. It's great for you. You know what I mean? It's a better situation. Saturday night pay-per-views are
Everyone
better
likes
for
it.
international. Yeah.
Even
So
domestic, people can stay up late and watch it and not worry about it being Monday the next day.
yeah. Well, Sunday usually gets the best ratings because people are in the house because they got it. But still, I think sports is a different beast, and so it's like, do you see it as a sport or do you see it as entertainment, and how will they see it? So there you
That's
go.
true.
Speaking of how would they see it, John Cena, the one and only. We've never had a conversation about this guy. John
Your
Cena
favorite.
hit the headlines. Dude, as a Twitch streamer, I gotta bring him up like 500 times. So I just literally started making fun of how great of a John Cena person is. And this one made Bear Friend laugh the most. Rate this story, okay? We make up John Cena stories because if you say anything bad about John Cena, someone will make up a story about him. Tell me how you feel about this joke, all right? So I die and meet
Mhm.
Jesus. And I say, Jesus, I'm not a religious man, so don't be offended, dude. It's a joke and it's a story from the Bible, or at least I think it might be. I'm like, Jesus, dude, life was hard. He's like, I was always by your side. Look, there's two sets of footprints. And I was like, but look there, Jesus, there's one set of footprints when my life was hard. Where did you go? And that's when Jesus looked me in the eye and said, that's when John Cena carried us both.
Oh God,
That's Bearfriend's favorite joke.
that's a Cenaism.
So there you go. No, because like no matter what you say, you're like, no, I met the guy. He's not a good person. And be like, but this, but that, and it's like, it's a shield. It's a shield. And Paul Heyman, what does he say about the shield that is John Cena?
Well, I do want to say we picked this topic to put on because I do have a different opinion from you on this, so I think that's going to be interesting. But basically, Paul Heyman said went out and made a statement. He made two. I want to read the first one because I don't want to miss it.
Okay.
This is Paul Heyman. John Cena is a real life hero. He's a superhero. When I become a grandparent one day, if I'm asked by my grandchildren what they should watch, it won't be Superman, it won't be Batman, Spider-Man, or the Hulk. You want to see a superhero? Go see what John Cena did with his life outside the ring. That man's a superhero.
Okay. And first off, just a counterpoint. Paul Heyman has never lied. He's like George Washington. He has never told a lie to benefit him a day in his life. What else does George Washington
advantage of everyone on the death of ECW? Just screwed so many people. But we're going to use him as a barometer of what a good human being is. It makes sense to me.
Us as two veterans, we really appreciate your service there, John. Remember what he used to try to say was Marine? Semper Fi.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks. I still wish we could find that one episode where we ranted about it. You remember the one where
he said he had
we're never gonna find it, but I know because Alex tried to find it. But fuck, I wish we could. Anyways, so in regards to Make-A-Wish, Paul Heyman claims that John Cena never wanted anyone to know about him doing Make-A-Wish, but there came a point in time where Vince McMahon sat him down and said, "You need to let me go public with these Make-A-Wish visits. You have to. You know you're hurting Make-A-Wish by not allowing me to do that. Because if people understood how much of your time you give to Make-A-Wish into these kids, they'll be inclined to contribute. They'll be inclined to get involved. And you will help them if you allow this." Because Cena never wanted to exploit it, is the claim. He never wanted publicity for it, is the claim. He never wanted recognition for it, is the claim. He just wanted to do it. That's a hero. People who go through life and say, and I'm still quoting Heyman, by the way, I'm going to do this because God will smile on me and it's my ticket to heaven. Well, then your motivation isn't really pure, is it? Your motivation is, I want something back for this. I want my VIP pass to heaven. I want God to like me because of this. That's not why John Cena did it. John Cena did it because it was the right thing to do. And that's the end of the quote.
He went all religion on us, boys. He
went deep on sucking John Cena's dick.
Yeah. All right, so we don't have to attack Paul Heyman's character. He's Paul Heyman.
Yeah, Paul Heyman's character is questionable enough. If you want to know how shitty a person Paul Heyman can be, just look into the ending of ECW, or more specifically, look into Tommy Dreamer and Paul Heyman. And I think that'll really alleviate. Or Chris Candido on the latest Dark Side of the Ring will shine a little light as well.
Okay, first off, let's say Paul Heyman is telling 100% truth. Okay? Now, granted, I've been living in Japan for 20 years. They don't believe you should ever take credit for charity. As soon as you take credit for charity, it's PR. Matter of fact, you know who else says that? Stephanie McMahon. Look it up.
Does she? That's fantastic.
Also, there's a payment. There is a payment. Look it up. Paul Heyman, who receives the money? Does WWE get it? Does WWE get the money, or does the children get the money? Who gets the money? Because there is a payment. Look at the taxes. There's a payment. Third, let's say, hey, screw Dave and his hippie way of thinking that if you brag about charity, it becomes PR. Screw that. Let's get that out of the way. In the story that Paul Heyman's telling, John Cena, the hero, isn't brave enough to stand up for what he believes is right.
Oh, that's true. He has to get forced to do it.
In the story that Paul Heyman basically wooed John Cena, in the story, he's not brave enough to stand up for his own beliefs. Not that John would ever have that problem. Google search. Now, granted, I have met John Cena. I will personally tell you, I think he's one of the worst human beings I've ever met, and I do have a grudge on him. But I also think sick kids are not props. I think a number only protects you because, oh, wow, what did you do in China? Oh, wow, what did you do to your ex-wife? Oh, wow, what did you have your girlfriend sign? Oh, wow, what did you do to Ford? Oh, wow. The list goes on forever. But the number is your shield. The number is your shield. Sick kids are not props. All right, I can rant all day.
Oh,
Your turn.
I'll agree with you that they shouldn't be used as props, and there are definite negative aspects to it. But we've had this talk multiple times. I know. I still, at the end of the day, I put a high value on the fact that John Cena's shittiness aside, whatever he gets from it, etc., there's at least a kid who gets like a good day out of it or like a good memory out of it. So to me, that's still positive overall. To me.
And that's the thing, 100%. And that's why it's the perfect shield. It's the same thing with breast cancer. Go see where that money goes. The problem is everyone is close. Everyone has a special spot in their heart for children. They don't want to see, most decent human beings don't want to see children suffer. They want them to be innocent. They want them to be the best thing they can be. I mean, you got to be a pretty scummy person not to think that, you know? So it's great for the children, but how's the money working? How's this working? Can you do it without being the props? Can you do it? And, you know, when it comes to this charity, you could choose not to do PR. People have be like, no, I don't want to be part of the PR. No, I don't want to be part of the PR. You have that option, you know? And if you ever did charity, because not you, Raccoon, but just in general, the people out there, if you've ever done charity, they'll say, hey, do you want to send out this press release? And you could say no. You could say no. And granted, I don't know, maybe it's I've been living in Asia too long. Maybe it's like, no, you can't do props. But it's the perfect shield. It is the perfect shield. And this is why it's a perfect shield. Because let's say I get so aggravated at John Cena. I'm like, oh my God, this and that and that. I have to turn into him to beat him. I have to be like, oh, well, that's how many kids he helped. Well, I helped this many kids. Oh, that's what he did. I have to. And it becomes disgusting. It becomes disgusting. Now, I think we can both agree. If we want to be a little bit naive for mental health, you know what I mean? We can just hope in the bottom of my hearts, yours a little brighter than mine, okay? That at least he was genuine. That's what we can hope for.
That's my hope.
That's what we can hope
at the very least, these kids had a great day.
Yeah. And you can help someone without fucking advertising it. That's the thing. And then here's the thing. How much money did they get in? How much money does it get? But here's the thing. People are willing to go after pink ropes. What is it? Season B Cuban or whatever the fuck it is? I apologize.
Susan
People will
B. Coleman?
They'll go after them a lot because there's no children attached. The children are the prop. They are the shield. That is the problem. So,
and it's one of those things where it's the power of the kids is overpowering. So I can see the logic of it being a shield, and you're not wrong.
Yeah. John, I hope you're a good person. I've met you. I know.
We're skeptical.
So, good luck. And, yeah, Make-A-Wish, just be genuine. I hope deep down inside you're genuine. That's all.
It's worth noting, people aren't intrinsically a good or bad person. It's actions in the moment. So I'll say John Cena helping kids, that's a good action. John Cena telling the world about it all the time, that's bad.
Yeah. But Paul Heyman says he's great. Thanks, Paul Heyman. All right.
Paul Heyman, my moral compass.
Speaking of stuff that goes up and down, taking stock, buy or sell. This is our go-to segment to end our wonderful podcast where we're going to say what we're going to buy and sell. Sometimes it could be wrestlers. We both bought Taguchi last week. Sometimes it's sell. The internet doesn't really like negativity, so let's massage him. Let's massage. You okay, internet? You okay? Dude, I had a Japanese friend say it best. He's like, yeah, dude. And so we were talking, and he's like, yeah, dude. Americans are really sensitive. He said Americans, but I'm probably sure he threw in most foreigners. He goes, they're really sensitive. So what you got to do is say the worst match is good, and then everything else is just an extra very. So he's like, if a drunk guy falls in a ring, busts his head and fucking open, and have to cancel the whole event, that was a good match. But then
Okay.
if you have Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, that was a very good match. So everything's good. Everything's good. All right. I'm going to buy
Something
my friend's
very
way of
good.
looking at reviews. He's like, dude, no one has a bad match. It's just good and then very good. It's
I'm still
very,
gonna
very
be able
good.
to sell.
All right. I'm going to go buy, sell. I'll go first. I kind of combined the two. I won't do this every week, but I thought of it. I am buying long title runs. I love long title runs. I think they're absolutely amazing. I know this week,
Shout out Orange Cassidy.
Alex Shelley just had a just stopped a short title run, and I thought it was kind of cool. So there are moments, but I think there's too many of those moments. So buy long title runs. And here's the thing: if you're not over, you shouldn't have the championship. If you're not the best wrestler in the company, you shouldn't have a championship. Eh,
I, I I think to be more fair, you don't necessarily mean long championship runs. I think you mean long championship runs that involve a lot of matches.
that's true. That's true. Yes, yes, yes.
We don't want a 1,000-day reign with one match every month.
I think, and
No one else
granted, I
perfect.
think like back in the old school days, it was one every 30 days. I think
Hmm.
you should have at least do two matches a month. At
I
minimum,
agree.
minimum two matches a month. That's just man. They don't have to be. Here's the thing: they don't have to be main eventers. Back in the day, you could just see a champion destroy someone free on television. Don't you dare
Hmm.
make it a non-title match, though. Don't you dare.
There, it's also worth noting, while we both have knocks on John Cena, I'm pretty sure both of us will openly say his U.S. title run did massive amounts to elevate the title by defending it weekly and keeping it active. And
Yeah,
that's something more belts need to do.
yeah, yeah, definitely active. And now sell titles. There's just too many. There's
I agree.
too many. I watch like four. I probably watch 4 to 10. I probably watch four companies religiously, and then I probably watch 10 all together semi-religiously and check in on other companies. We need way
Mhm.
less titles.
I
Like,
agree.
unless you're a Wikipedia fucking nerd and just study Wikipedia, most fans that are just normal human beings can't list off every champion in their company. There's just too many. Noah has
I
too
can't.
many. You can list off every champion?
I can't.
Oh, I can't
No,
either.
I'm saying I can't. And I am pretty in tune to my wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
There are too many. Like we were talking about it off air the other day. There's so many prop belts.
All right, your turn, sir. Buy or sell. What do you got?
Uh, this one I think is gonna be this is a gamble. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna buy CM Punk. Listen, I
Oh,
know we got some complaints, we have concerns, but at the end of the day, CM Punk is still one of the best to ever do it. And I want to believe CM Punk is gonna come back as hot as ever and he's gonna blow it out of the water. I want to believe it. I want to believe it so bad.
there's a part of me that shares that view, but there's also a part of me that agrees with you and goes, but if he doesn't, his
Yeah,
career is
if he
over.
doesn't, it's rough. If this man goes out there and by fluke gets injured this week, it's done. I don't think I'll ever be able to look at him as like a serious potential like main eventer if he gets injured right away again. It'll be way too many injuries. Clearly he's done. You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna sell one. This is a bonus sell that's not on my list because I don't have the best memory, and it's kind of a continuation. Huge announcements, sell. Here's the thing. I know,
Yeah.
dude. The huge announcement this week was a 6-man tag.
And it
Let
was
that
terrible.
sink in.
What an announcement. It was a garbage announcement.
The announcement was a 6-man tag. Let that sink in. A 6-man tag was considered a huge announcement. That's in fucking insane. Insane. Boo, Tony Khan.
I agree.
All
I'm
right.
also
Go ahead, sir.
I'm also gonna buy right now, and I wouldn't have thought I would ever say this because I haven't been a very big fan of her overall in wrestling. Aside from that, she does make some holds look fucking amazing. I'm gonna buy Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler.
Dude,
They've grown on me as a tag team. I'm really enjoying them. I'm really enjoying the shit talk, everything. I'm enjoying it. I really do.
I agree with you 100%. I was over here. I don't know. You can't see me, but I was over here fucking having a fucking orgasm. As a guy, I just had an Enochiism orgasm. A Noki-gasm. I love Ronda. Granted, I only watch the highlights and the pay-per-view. So that I feel like if you watch every single thing like Sid does and you don't like something, your voice means more than mine when it comes to WWE. I love Ronda Rousey, and I love the tag team. And maybe it's the Enochiism in me, but I've always loved Ronda. All right, this was a little bit segment earlier, but buy, sell. I'm selling Bullet Club Gold. Don't care. I feel like Jay White is in summer school detention. Was it?
Yeah, I was gonna sell Bullet Club Gold because I'm so fucking tired of Bullet Club. Like, and the worst part is, I'm so torn because on one hand I'm like, fuck Bullet Club Gold. Why did you do this? Why? Why did you create Bullet Club Gold in the company that has the Elite? Why? But then you have on the other side they added the Gun Club, and it just fits so well. So I want to sell the fact that Bullet Club Gold is existing, but since I have to live with them, I'm going to buy that they at least put the guns in it.
Yeah, guns, I'd say buy. Guns and Bullet Club make a lot of sense. Bullet Club Gold sell. But, and I don't know how much Impact you watch. Bullet Club Impact? Buy. The ABC team, I absolutely love. Absolutely love. Just kicking some caboose. So, yeah, but the guns, I'm going to say buy guns. The guns and Bullet Club make a lot of sense. It saves their career, and that's who should be there.
Hot take in America. Buy guns.
I live in Japan. We have no guns. I apologize. All right. This is going to be maybe a little controversial. And for those that are going to get angry, please let me finish the whole sentence. Buy shorter matches, sell longer matches that are just long for the sake of being long.
I agree. It's like we don't need a 30-minute Iron Man match just because.
Yeah. And then this is a bit more about the G1 and N1 and Super Juniors and the Tag League.
And the F1.
Smaller tournaments are better than bigger tournaments. So buy smaller tournaments, sell bigger tournaments. Now here's the thing though. The bigger tournaments, you could have a Taguchi rebrand his career. You can have a Taguchi become buy instead of sell. His stock can change. But
he's never gonna sell.
For the average one or two guys that will stand out, there's a lot of bad matches that don't. And I think smaller tournaments would be better. Smaller, higher quality tournaments.
I agree. Like a good little 8-man tournament could be great.
Yeah. And I love the G1. But every year the G1 gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and now there's backups that can go in. It's like, oh my god, dude.
Still doesn't have Daniel Bryan.
No. There's not enough spots. So they're like, hey, listen, we got 4 blocks and 2 guys make it to the finals, but we actually need 42 blocks with 6 guys from each block making it to the finals so that we can have room for Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan.
Would it be if Forbidden Door actually did their own kind of like a G1 tournament, except each bracket was a different company's like top 6 guys?
Like ROH and that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool, man.
And then the winners of those go on to face each other. Then it's like the best of each company is the one that's clashing.
There's a lot of egos, man. New Japan bullies AEW. AEW bullies Noah. Noah bullies Dragon Gate. It's working together all together is a bit rough. We did do an all together review on Kocosports YouTube. All right. I got no more buy sells. Do you have any buy sells?
One last one.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Takeshita. I think Takeshita is amazing. I've said it since he first debuted. I've seen him on older videos on YouTube when he was just DDT younger. The DDT Ace is, in my opinion, the best young wrestler in the world, and I think he's going to go on to be one of the greatest of all time.
You know what? I've been buying that kid's stock for a long time, so that's the stock of the week. Stock of the week. Double buy, triple buy.
Yeah, Takeshita to the moon.
Takashita to the moon. Oh my god, I haven't watched it in stock. I have people take care of my stocks for me. I haven't heard those terms in such a long time. I had nostalgia when I did my own stocks.
To the moon,
To
baby.
the moon! We're gonna ride it to the moon, Takashita. All right,
And
know
then
what
have
I'm gonna buy a lot
DDT
in?
match on the moon.
At SidsLight Twitter, at SidsLight YouTube, and at SidsLight Twitch. That's what I'm buying. Buying tons of stock in it.
Cheap pops.
All right. Anything you want to say before we wrap this bad boy up? Last statement.
No, we'll be back next week, same time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. It'll go up on Wednesday next week, every week.
All right. YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and slowly but surely we're going to improve. All right.
Oh, let us know who you would buy and sell in the comments,
Ooh,
too.
that's not bad. Yeah, buy and sell. Let's get some comments in there. We got to tickle the balls of the YouTube algorithm. Susan, start wearing suit. You're like, Susan, what's going on? How you doing? Hey.
You'll notice we had 2 comments.
Woohoo! High five. Can we break our record of 2 and 3? It's weird because the algorithm sucks because, like, if you... anyway, this is a bit too much business talk. I mean, we love YouTube, and thank you for having us back. Twitch, are you dumping money in it? No? Okay, YouTube, it feels great to be back.
Yeah, we love it.
Love it. Like, comment, subscribe, and with that, I am over.
Hey,